We can hear you just fine.
Excellent. Hi, I'm Andrew Reed, and I worked on this project with Rieke Shäfer, Thiago Caminha, Francesco Lane, Alan Smith, and Sunny Pinkham, and we're Project Biofouled, and this is just a picture of an oxygen sensor that was biofouled by a biofilm while it was deployed at sea. And so the challenge was to try to develop a technique for identifying when instrument data has gone bad due to biofouling. So the figure on your right, that's a time series of oxygen data from an Ocean Observatory's initiative oxygen sensor deployed in the North Pacific. And the red dots are data that was hand labeled when the instrument became biofouled. And so we were working with two data sets of oxygen data that had been hand labeled, and we split into two approaches. One tried using a supervised machine learning technique to see if they could reproduce the hand labels. And another one looked at the statistical properties of the data distribution. So now I will hand it off to the machine learning people with Francesco.
Hi, so we were going to use the labeled data to do a machine learning algorithm, and Thiago initially did some data exploration and unveiled some patterns in a daily pattern. And then the goal was to access, split, and fit the data to a classification med in the sklearning package using tutorial scripts in Python, and then report it and see that where their performance is. And then from there, generalize a script to ingest more oxygen data and reevaluate it to add more data. So the status was that through transitioning from the tutorial script to the oxygen data, there was some bugs, but the hope was, the outcome was a good learning activity to do data exploration and access. Passing on back on to Andrew.
Now I have Sunny for the statistics.
Yeah, can you hear me? Should be good. So there was a group of us that were looking at the statistics of the data set, and we did a few different approaches, but one that seemed to work fairly well was Rieke, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, was looking at the difference between consecutive data points, which the upper right plot shows how when the marked biofouling, manually labeled biofouling occurred, the difference between consecutive data points did definitely blow up a bit. And so she was looking at those differences, and basically we picked a threshold value of if the difference between consecutive data points was greater than this threshold, then we'll mark it as being biofouled data. Flagged the data as such, and then we looked at regions of where there was a high percentage of flagged data. And if there was a high percentage of flagged data, then the rest of the data in that region was also considered to be flagged or biofouled. So that was one method that seemed to work pretty well. The left-hand plot shows the manually marked flagged data, and the right-hand plot shows the data that was flagged through this procedure. Additionally, beyond this, we worked with looking at a few different statistics, the variance of the data, both with standard deviations and median absolute deviations, and also the skew of the data set. And we didn't quite have enough time to fully implement this, but we're in the middle of developing a method to take one of these types of statistics and set it to a function that will find the time point where the statistic starts breaking the threshold value, and then it automatically marks it as biofouled. So there's a few steps we have moving forward. I don't know if you should pass it back to Andrew.
And so just kind of outlook going forward. So part of this is preparing more data sets for especially for the machine learning technique by developing a pipeline for adding the human labels, which exist for all of the data for OI to the data sets. And so I worked on streamlining and creating a data pipeline for that process. For the machine learning, part of that is using bigger data sets to get more robust techniques and further evaluating chosen techniques. And for the statistics, Sunny just went through some of their further plans. So that's it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Biofouled.